Welcome to Abnormal Truth, everyone. Thanks for clicking in. This video is about dream types and different aspects of dreams. And somewhere around 10 years ago, I became obsessed with learning how to lucid dream and share dreams, learn how to astral travel, and I read everything and listened to every radio show and really researched it as much as I possibly could, because I wanted to know if we could accomplish these things in dreams. And I was able to accomplish a lot of these things in my dreams. And I think dreams are one of the most important things that you can do in life, and most of us just think it's a reflection of our subconscious trying to work things out. And that is true in different kinds of dreams, but I just want to try to bring some awareness on some of these things that you can actually do while dreaming. And what I've realized after doing all this, there's much more reality to dreaming than you would think. And so first I want to list some different kinds of dreams. And I'm going to start with the kind of normal dreams first, and then I'll explain some of the more, esoteric dreams that you can have. And so, of course, you can kind of have a normal dream, which for me, it'll be a little different for everybody, but a normal dream is you're in a city and you're talking to people, or you're in a restaurant, or you're at a house party somewhere, and nothing really specific happens, and it doesn't seem like your subconscious is trying to tell you anything. It's just kind of a normal dream. And some of those you won't remember as much, but I have a lot of those. And like I said, they'll be a little different for everybody. But then you have dreams that seem to actually be your subconscious working out problems. And if you ask a scientist, or you ask science, what is a dream? That's what they'll tell you. And that's what happens when you ask science, what are dreams? That's what happens when you ask science something that's basically spiritual. You'll get that narrow band view. And so in these kind of dreams, you can also have reoccurring dreams. And you really need to listen to those kind of dreams, because it's your subconscious wanting to tell you something so bad that it's repeating itself every night. And so if you're having those kind of reoccurring dreams, you may want to really look at it, write it down, think about it, because it's trying to slap you upside the head and tell you something. And so that's in one way how dreams are really useful. You have some dreams that are just day residue. You may dream all night that you're at work because you worked the day before, and then you wake up and then you really have to go to work. It's like you're putting on a 20-hour shift or whatever, and that's not a great time. That's not good times. But that's day residue, where you're concentrating on something all day, or you've been thinking on a particular subject all day, and it ends up intertwining with your dreams at night. So that's day residue. You can have precognitive dreams, and I've had a few, and they weren't about anything major that happened in my life, but I remember dreaming it, and a day or two later, the exact same thing happens. And I think a lot of people have those. And on top of that, you also have prophetic dreams, which are usually the dreams are much larger, on a larger scale. And I'm seeing a lot of people uploading and telling their prophetic dreams on YouTube, and a lot of them are having dreams about tidal waves hitting New York, and basically just a lot of end time dreams. And a lot of them are having the same dream, basically. And so those can happen and do happen. And it's important to look at those. Then you can do something called lucid dreaming, which the way I define lucid dreaming is that you become fully conscious while in a dream. And so you'll even say to yourself, this is a dream, wow. And so if you've asked yourself or you tell yourself, I think I've had a lucid dream, you really haven't, because you will know when you have a lucid dream, because there's a spectrum of lucidity there that a lot of us have those dreams where we kind of know we're dreaming, but we're just going along with the dream. But a true full lucid dream it's like no difference. You have all your cognitive faculties there, but you're dreaming, and everything's extremely real. And so that to me is a lucid dream. Now, a lot of people get lucid dreaming and astral and out of body experience mixed up. And to me, when you have an astral experience, it is actually your soul coming out of your body. And you know, soul is a term that it has many terms. You can call it your higher self. You can call it your energy body, whatever you want to call it, but it is that electrical energy that is ageless. It's been around for eons. And so it is a vastly different experience, but I think people will have a really good lucid dream and they think they're astral traveling, because you can do a lot of the similar things. You can talk to beings that have knowledge, and you can fly around and have fantastical adventures. But to me, an astral experience is almost indescribable on what the feeling is. You're back in your soul. All your ego and all that is left in your body, and you have this, it's like you're back again. And I'm going to do a video on my astral experience and how I've obtained it and what method I used. But I found that if I tried to fit that into the dreams video, it was over an hour long, so that's going to have to be another video. But I did want to say the difference in between the two. And so basically an astral experience is not really a dream. It isn't really a dream. So those are just a few types of dreams you can have. And that's the problem I have with, doctors or science just saying that, they're just your subconscious working out problems, because it's true, but there's also a lot of different kind of dreams where other things are going on. So I just wanted to point that out. So in this video, I'm going to cover not just lucid dreams, but I'm going to cover shared dreams. I'm going to discuss, if you die within a dream, do you die in the real world? I'm going to talk about dream catchers. I'm going to talk about dream weaving. So kind of trying to give an overview on how awesome dreaming is, and hoping that some people get into it more. And this won't be a video on how to do these things, but I think I have a good starting tip for people that are trying to start to lucid dream. And so let's get into lucid dreaming, because that is a really cool thing you can do. And once you achieve that, you'll just be astounded how there's really no difference between being fully awake and being awake in your dream. It's the dreams are so real. It's just astounding. So my first lucid dream I ever had happened through a false awakening. So I have to describe a false awakening a little bit. And what happens there is you're having a dream, and then you dream that you woke up. And so you think that you've actually woke up from sleep, but yet you're really in a dream. And something that can happen is that you can get stuck in a loop. You'll have many false awakenings in the same night, and it can become disconcerting because you think you may not actually wake up ever, because you'll start to notice it after several dreams or false awakenings. But fortunately that night that didn't happen. But it's kind of cool that a false awakening led me into a lucid dream. And I guess I have to go over my method I was using there. I think the most common method out there that you could easily look up is basically training your brain to realize and to ask yourself if you're in a dream during your awakened state, as many times a day as you can. And it took me weeks of doing this. It was not easy for me to do. It actually took me longer to have a lucid dream than to have an astral experience. And I think most of the time it's opposite. But I had a hard time lucid dreaming, but I was dedicated to doing it. And so all day long, and every time you think about it, you just kind of look around, and you don't have to say it out loud, but is this a dream? Am I dreaming? And after a while, it just trains your brain into asking that question. And why it works is because while dreaming, there are clues within your dream that you're dreaming. There's impossible things going on there that could not happen in your real life. And so once you train or hack your brain into thinking this way, you'll come across that in a dream, and it'll trigger you to immediately become lucid. And my first lucid dream isn't I wish it was a better story, but I'm just telling it like it is. And so it isn't really exciting, and it actually got cut off kind of short. And I give you my tips for that too, but my method, which is what you need to look into. You can read about people's lucid dreams and all that, but if you really just want to have one yourself, you should look up all the different methods of having a lucid dream. Write you down a list and look at the ones that sound good to you, the ones you like, and try those first, and then try the other ones if you fail at the ones you like. But these methods will work for some people, they won't work for other people, so it is imperative and a good way to start. And I'm just giving you my advice from my trial and error of doing it. And just try the ones first that ring true to you. And the one that worked for me was just a awareness check throughout my day. I do several reality checks there. And so when I first started trying to lucid dream, I had a false awakening. And what that is you'll be dreaming, and then you'll dream that you woke up. Okay, so you've been having dreams, and then you have this dream that you woke up, but you're really still in the dream. It's actually kind of a weird thing to happen, and some people can have this several times a night, and they get kind of scared. And so my first lucid dreaming started from false awakening, and I got up and I was walking to the bathroom, and I looked down and there was no toilet there. My toilet was gone. There's just, all I could see was like a gasket down there in that hole, and the toilet was completely gone from my bathroom. And that wasn't enough to trigger me into lucid dreaming, but it did help. And I guess I was thinking, well, maybe they repaired, something was wrong with the toilet and they removed it without telling me, and they're going to bring it back today. You know how dreams are, you just kind of go, okay. So I walked outside, and in my driveway was this strange car, And what I mean by a strange car is this car was not my car. It was not anybody's car I knew. This car was not supposed to be in my driveway. And furthermore, it was on blocks with the wheels and tires all gone, like it was a broken down car or something. And immediately, well, almost immediately, I looked at that car, and in between the car and the toilet missing in my house, I became lucid, fully lucid in my dream. And it was daytime, so I could see all these details. And I was so excited because, like I said, it was hard for me to have a lucid dream. And you just start thinking about all the possibilities that you could do. And but really, my first impression was is I was amazed at the resolutions your dreams are in. You know, there was no fuzzy, hazy view of it. It was all crystal clear, broad daylight, sunshiny day, all the blades of grass, all the trees, the wind was blowing, you could feel it. Absolutely amazing. Blows away any kind of virtual reality system you have. It just can, I don't know if they'll ever get to that point because it is so real. And so those were my initial thoughts. Now, my advice to you, if you're trying really hard to lucid dream, an important thing that you need to do is you need to have a plan of what you want to do once you reach this state. You need to have a plan on what you want to do. Because what happened with me is I put all these weeks and weeks of work and energy into having a lucid dream. And once I achieved it, I was excited, and to me the possibilities were endless on what I could do, but I couldn't decide what I wanted to do, and I was blown away how real everything looked. And I started floating up into the air, not on purpose, but I just started floating up into the air, and then I blacked out. So I had a short lucid dream my first time. I didn't get to fly around and control my dream and have all these experiences like I've read of other people having. So that's my advice. Have you a plan of what you want to do once you become lucid. And you also need to, I think I was losing focus too, and I guess my dreams just made me pass out and I probably went into another dream. So, of course, I didn't quit after that. I wanted to have another one. And so I kept training my brain to ask if this is a dream, or am I in a dream right now? And just doing that reality check 20, 30 times a day at least, more if you can. And so my second lucid dream experience came through a day residue dream. And I had the day off, and I decided I was going to have a movie festival, a movie binge on zombie movies. I had 10 or 11 zombie movies downloaded, and this was back before Walking Dead was even around. This is early 2000s. So I was watching all the classic zombie movies. Evil Dead, Night of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead. And I really had a binge fest there on the zombie movies all day long. So it was no surprise that night I had a nightmare about zombies chasing me. And so in this dream, I was with a girl, like I guess in a lot of the zombie movies, this girl and a guy, and they're getting chased. And we came across this military base, and it wasn't like an underground base or anything, just a huge, government building, kind of hangar. It looked like a hangar kind of. It was just a really big building. And somehow we got in the door, and this whole complex was dark, and it had doors to the left and right everywhere, and it was almost like a maze within this complex. And it went on for some time, nightmares are horrible. You're running for your life. You know, you think zombies are going to eat you, and we've been running for a while, and we got kind of ahead of the zombies a little bit. And I believe she said something like, "Can you believe zombies are chasing us?" And for some reason, that made me go, "Wait a minute. I'm in a dream because zombies aren't real, and that's impossible. So I'm in a dream," and I instantly became fully lucid. And when I become fully lucid, that is my dream. I do what I want there. Nothing is going to chase me or kill me when I'm lucid. And because I control everything there, you are king of that world. And so I immediately, in Superman style, flew through the walls and everything. And I found the zombies and basically started kicking zombie ass. And I was doing karate on them and hitting them with, pipes and breaking their skulls open and all that. And I totally annihilated these zombies. And what is cool about that is that through lucid dreaming, I got myself out of a nightmare. And it's always better to be conscious in a dream than unconscious. So I really do not see any dangers of lucid dreaming. I think of it as the opposite. And so those are a couple of my lucid dreams. And this entire video isn't about lucid dreams. I'm going to talk about other things. But I just wanted to share my first couple of lucid dreams I had and how I accomplished them. And so let's go to shared dreams, because that's another one that's major and it means a lot. And most people don't believe that you can share a dream with somebody. And I've talked to a lot of couples about this. I try to bring it up when I can. And most of them have had that experience. But what has to happen is you have to have a shared dream that night. Then when you wake up, both of you have to remember that dream. But then one of you have to bring it up for you to even realize that it happened. So there's certain factors there that have to fall in line before you'll realize it. And so it happens more than you think. If you're really connected to your partner and you're really close, you're probably having several of them. Especially if you're always like, "Yeah, you're like always in my dreams." I just want to let you know that is possible. It happens all the time, and especially with couples. You don't have to be a couple to do it. But I went further than that. And somebody told me how to dream weave a long time ago. And what dream weaving is when you purposely enter somebody's dream. You focus on them while you're falling asleep. I won't really tell you how to do it. But you can purposely dream weave your way into somebody's dream and share a dream with them. So it happens on accident, but yet you can intentionally do it. And so I'm going to tell you my intentional shared dream. And so I was dating this girl a long time ago, and I started having lucid dreams. But I wanted to know if we shared dreams, because if we could share dreams, that means dreams are way more important than we think they are, and that we're all telepathically connected, especially while dreaming. And so as we fell asleep, I intentionally shared a dream with her, and she had to go to work early the next morning, so she was gone when I woke up. But when I woke up, I remembered I shared a dream with her, or had a dream with her in it. And it is an elaborate dream, but we were in this old city, and it kind of looked like the French Quarter. And we were walking around, and we eventually walked up to this hot dog stand because we wanted to get something to eat. And so I said, "Can we have a couple hot dogs?" And he was like, "Sure." And he started looking down in the cabinets or whatever below the hot dog stand. And he says, "Well, I can't believe this, but I'm out of hot dog buns." And so we were like, "Just give us, a hot dog anyway." And so we ate the hot dogs even though he didn't have hot dog buns. So it's not an extraordinary dream. But I'll tell you what's extraordinary is when I called her later on that day when she got off work, it wasn't the first thing I said, and I had all day to think about how I was going to do this, and I knew that I didn't want to lead her in any way. So my words after we stopped chatting a little bit on the phone was, "Did you have a dream about you and I last night?" And she took a second to think about it, and she said, "Yeah, we were in this city, and we were walking around, and we came upon a hot dog stand, and we ate hot dogs without the buns." And I was like, whoa, you know. And in hindsight, I should have waited, but if I didn't see her that night, she might have not remembered the dream, right? Because your dream memory can dwindle even within 5 minutes of waking up. But anyway, hindsight, right? But I didn't lead her on. She told me this on her own, and that's when I knew that shared dreams were real. And not only that, you could instigate one to happen. So I find that extremely interesting, and I hardly hear anybody talking about it. I just about a week ago, these two guys, I wish I remember their YouTube video, but they're famous. They have a bunch of views, and they're two guys, and they're always in this room at the table, and you know, they're two friends, and they talk about different stuff. And he was telling his shared memory with his wife, and that made me think, yeah, that's kind of cool. You don't hear that often, people talking about it, but I knew exactly what it was, and I knew that that really happened to him. And so, you know, I just want to put this video out there to talk about these kind of things, just to maybe wake some people up on, you know, how their dreams are actually have more reality to them than they think. And so there's another kind of dream that's also just as special, and you can talk to your deceased friends and family in a dream. And if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. It's way easier for their soul to talk to you while you're dreaming, because you're in a closer state for them to communicate with you about stuff that they want to tell you by, or everything's going to be okay. And you know, I think a lot of people have had this dream, and I've asked people and I've heard people's experiences with it, and I've had one of my own, and it's really powerful kind of dream. And it's just funny that most of us don't believe that that's even possible. But I'm telling you, if somebody has passed on, they will probably try to talk to you in your dreams if there's something they need to tell you. So if somebody passes away, and even if a few years go by and you have a dream with them, they came to talk to you and to tell you something. And in my case, I was walking through a park. I was dreaming. Wasn't lucid. Just walking through a park. And, you know, this dream was probably 20 years ago. And I saw my grandmother that had died when I was 8 years old sitting on a park bench. And I was like, oh, Grandma, look, you know. So I sat next to her, and she told me all these good things, and you really do have a wonderful feeling because you miss this person really bad. And she told me about things that were going to happen in my life, and so that's my little dream that was like that. And I mean, again, that is just something amazing, and yet it's hardly ever talked about. All right, let's talk about that old question of, if you have a dream that you fell off a cliff and you hit bottom, do you die in real life? And again, I've had that experience. I've had a dream where I fell off a cliff but didn't hit bottom, and I've had one where I actually hit bottom and died, and I woke up, and of course I was okay. And so what I want you to realize is that you can die like that. You can have a heart attack, um, or something other physical thing that'll happen to you, because dreams are so real that, it's kind of like the Matrix. Once Neo realized what the Matrix was and he got comfortable with it, after a while, if he died in the Matrix, he wouldn't really die in his waking state. And so I just want to put that out there, because a lot of times it sounds like the consensus is that it's a given. If you have a dream that you fall off a cliff and you hit the bottom and you die in your dream, you'll die in real life. Well, I'm telling you, it's not a given. But I'd also like to reiterate that it can happen and it does happen. And, if you had a weak heart, you could have a cardiac arrest because you thought you died in your dream. But it is not a given. Now I want to talk briefly about dream catchers. Dream catchers, do not use them. I was watching a video a few weeks ago, and this lady was talking about how you shouldn't use them, and I was sitting there agreeing with everything she said, because I've tried them twice, and they were several years apart. But I think the first time I had actually bought one, and I hung it above my bed. And what the story is on the dream catchers is that they'll catch all the bad dreams in the web and only let the good dreams through. And when the morning sunlight hits the dream catcher, it'll dissolve the bad dreams. And so I had that all set up. My room wasn't all dark. The light would hit it in the morning, and I was having horrible nightmares on this thing. It's supposed to give you only dreams, but I was getting the opposite effect, and I was using it properly. And I'm sure there's people out there that don't have this experience, but maybe your dream catcher's broken. I don't know, but I can tell you all the times I've tried it, it's been horrible. And when I mean a nightmare, these are really bad nightmares. And so, that one, I was pretty young, and I must have left it up for 5 or 6 days. But after a while, I was like, well, I'm having way too many nightmares. I'm having more nightmares than when I didn't have this thing above me. So I took it down and threw it away, and then the problem stopped. Went from having no nightmares. So many years passed, and somebody gave me a dream catcher. And it was a nice one. It wasn't a huge one, but it was just kind of real well made, looked authentic. And so I hung the thing up again. I guess after all the years that had passed, I had forgotten what a bad experience I had on it. But the very night that I was sleeping under this new dream catcher, I had one of the worst nightmares I've ever had. And I actually died in that dream. So I've died a couple of times in dreams, and it was okay when I woke up. But I think if I had bad heart problems, it might have been a different story on this one. So real quick, my dream on that, and of course I wasn't lucid in this one, and I was a superhero. And there were a group of superheroes around me, and none of them were famous. I wasn't surrounded by the Hulk and Wolverine and all that. It was like my subconscious made these new superheroes, all with their own powers, right? You might think, well, that kind of sounds like a cool dream. But it wasn't, because there were villains in this dream, and they were bad. And again, none of them were famous villains. These were all just made up villains that I guess my subconscious made. And there was one of them in particular who kind of looked like a gangster in the 30s or whatever, pinstripe suit. And he didn't really have any superpowers, but his thing was he dual wielded these special guns, and he was really accurate with them. They were powerful handguns, high rate of fire. The bullets could chase you to a certain extent. And he was one of the most horrifying villains in the dream. And these villains were killing people, and the whole dream was like trying to keep them from killing people and trying not to get killed. And they were taking over the city. And so finally, this dual wielding handgun villain shot me and killed me several times. Shot me up really good, and I remember falling down, dying, and blacking out. And so when I got up, I took that damn dream catcher down and just mashed it all up, and twisted it around and threw it in the garbage. And so if you want my advice, don't mess with the dream catchers, because they not only gave me nightmares, they gave me severe nightmares. And so, yeah, that's my feelings on dream catchers and my experiences on dream catchers. And so I think I'm going to cut the video off here, guys. Like and subscribe if you've learned anything, if you enjoyed the video. Make some comments down there in the comments section. If you have something to say, I read all of them. And I've had to put them on approval. So you may not see your comments show up right away, but I check them more than once a day. And so anyway, guys, thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time.